almost time for kids' time. We're gonna be late.
It's time to share. There's a world out there looking for a friend like Jesus. It's time to share. There's a world out there. Let's tell him that he loves us so. Let's tell him that he loves us so. Kids time. Kids time. Kids time.
Hi, boys and girls. I once heard a story about a young couple who had a baby at home right during a great big storm. They didn't expect to have their baby quite so soon, and they certainly did not expect a flood to come at the same time. They were so happy when a little boat floated up right beside their house and carried them away to safety and dry land. When the man in the boat said, "Get in," they didn't have to think twice about it. They almost jumped in that boat. With all that water swirling around them, they were not going to argue, and it made perfect sense. Our story today is about a flood, a boat, and a man who said, "Get in." But not everyone believed him because the waters were not swirling around them yet. By the time they decided to get in, it was too late. I'll tell you all about it in just a little bit, but first, it's time for Nature Time.
Oh, hey everyone, it's me, Rich Aguilera. I'm so happy to see you. As usual, I'm here taking some pictures of God's amazing nature. It's everywhere. You know, I love to learn about nature, but not only learn about nature, I love to play in nature, the nature that God made for us. You don't think he just made it for us to look at, do you? No way. He made it for us to eat, to play with, and to enjoy. Just now, I was about to play. You want to come with me? I was gonna try surfing. Of course, surfing wouldn't be possible if it weren't for waves, which are part of nature. And waves are formed by wind, which are also part of nature. Enough talking, let's try surfing. That was awesome. But you know what it made me think of while I was surfing? It made me think of all the creatures that are in the water. You know, I brought my snorkel with me. Why don't we go inside and take a look?
Check out these corals. They exist in so many colors. Some people think corals are plants, which make their own food. But they're really animals, which have to catch their food. A coral is made up of thousands of tiny animals called polyps. What are they called?
Polyps!
Yup, polyps. Look at these guys. I guess they're a little shy. These are sea urchins. They have a very spiny shell. They move around very slowly, and they mostly feed on algae. Hey, I found a starfish. One of the neatest things about starfish is that most species can regrow an arm if it's broken off. I'll definitely be careful holding this one. Fish in the ocean are plentiful. It's neat when they travel around in groups called schools. What are their groups called?
Schools!
Yep, schools. Here's my son Alex playing around with a school of fish. One of the funnest things to do is to bring a little piece of bread and feed it to the fish. They're shy at first, but then they get close and enjoy the feast. Look, I'm following a green sea turtle. They're great swimmers since they have those big paddle-like fins. Manta rays look like they're flying in the water. They cruise along with their mouths open because they eat plankton. Unlike the stingray, manta rays don't have a stinger, and they can grow to be about 25 feet across. Wow! Do you remember what these giant creatures are called?
Manta rays.
That's right, manta rays.
Well, I've had a ton of fun checking out the waters here. I'm always amazed at what I see. There's so much variety, and that's why I take lots of pictures. Taking pictures is a great way to remember all of the stuff we've learned. If you want to see my pictures, you can. Just go to our website at kidstimeforjesus.org and click on Nature Time. By the way, if you ever get a chance, I hope you get in the water and check out that whole other world in there. Remember, God is the creator. Nature is his masterpiece. See ya.
Welcome to Learning Time. I'm glad you joined us today, and we are again at a very special place. Where are we?
Oshkosh!
We're at Oshkosh, Wisconsin, and we're here at the International Pathfinder Camporee, and there's over 40,000 campers here. Are you guys having fun camping?
Yeah!
Yeah. Well, how many of you like science here? Anybody like science? Oh, I do too. Today we're going to do some science experiments. And you know, this experiment you can do at home, and this is really exciting. And I've got 3 helpers. I want to ask them what their name is and where are they from. So can you tell us?
My name's Taryn, and I'm from Tennessee.
Hey, thanks for joining us today. And you are?
Jeffrey, and I'm from New Mexico.
Great. And?
My name is Aiden, and I am from Tennessee.
Great. I appreciate all of you coming today. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to try to make a rainbow. Have you ever made a rainbow? Who's made a rainbow before? Well, here's a very simple way of making a rainbow, and there's a lot of science in this. So in order to do this, we're going to need something like this. What is this thing right here?
A milk carton.
It's a carton, right? It's a carton, okay? And so what you do is you take the top off, kind of like what I did right here, okay? And then you have this little like trough kind of thing. And then what you're going to need is you're going to need a little mirror. And so we're going to put the mirror right inside of our milk carton, just like that. Can you see what that is? Very simple to do. And then you're going to need to put water in here. And that's what we have over there. So let's see if we can see these rainbows. So let's see. Let me get my 3 helpers with the white shirts on. Get over here, and I'm gonna come over here too. Okay? Can you join me over here? Come on over here. All right. And I want you to come way down here, way back over here, and stand in front of this one. Here, move over here. Stand in front of this one. You can stand in front of this one, this one, this one. Can you stand in front of this one? Okay. And then I want all the rest of you. Can you kind of get behind them, but about 4 or 5 feet behind them? Okay. Give some space right there. Okay, I want you to hang on to this board for me, just like that. You got that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Can you hold this for me, dear? Right over here. Hold this one just about right here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to try to get some of that sunlight to focus right through the water. Now what the water does is the water bends or diffracts the light, that white light from the sun. And so that ought to break that white light up into the spectrum colors of the rainbow. So I want you to move back until you can see a rainbow on your, move back some more, Mac, you're too close, keep going, and until, oh, you're just about putting that out. How, are you getting one over here? Let's see what we got. Are we getting a rainbow over there? We're getting a rainbow over there, and what do we have over here? We got one right here, oh, look at there. Can you see that one on his shirt? He's got a big one on his shirt over there. Let's see if we can get another one focused over here. And it's kind of hard sometimes to get that all worked out. Let's see what we got. Oh, there's another one being focused over there. Oh, and you've got one already focused on you, just about like that. Drop your paper down a little bit so we can see all of that. Can you see those rainbows? That's interesting, isn't it? All of that colors, all those colors are present in the white light. But we can't see it until we break it up to a prism. Now we've got a big one over here. I want my 3 white shirted friends to come over here and stand right in front of this one right here. Here we go. Back up a little bit. Let's see if we can focus that. There you go. Back up some more so we can see yours a little bit better. Now that is interesting. Now there was a man that lived a long time ago, and his name was Sir Isaac who? Newton. What Newton did was he thought that white light contained all of the colors of the rainbow. And so he did some of these kinds of experiments, and he broke up the white light by diffracting it by using a lens or a prism, and it turned out to be all of those particular colors. Wow. And so God made all of those colors in the rainbow. But when you and I see that sunlight, it's called white light. Even though the sun might look yellow to us, it's still considered to be white light. And all of the colors that you and I see right now, look at your shirts, all of the colors happen to come from the sun. And then what we're wearing actually kind of reflects just that wavelength of color into our eyes. Isn't that the coolest thing? Isn't that the coolest thing?
Yeah!
That is really cool. And every time we learn more about science, we learn more about our Creator, God.
This project is so boring. Who cares about maps and navigation? I wish I had something cool like, ooh, this. Under the sea, I've always dreamed of being a scuba diver and learning about the animals and the coral. Oh, that would be so awesome. I wish.
You think maps and navigation is boring? Look at what I have. It's war. I just do not like war. It's all about killing and shooting, and that's just not my thing. I wish I had something better. Like boats. I love boats, especially riding on them. It's so fun.
Hey, girls, did I hear you say you liked boats?
Yeah.
Come over here. Let me show you what great big boat I have right here. Look at this one right here.
Whoa. Isn't that a ship?
You're right. They call boats this big a ship. And look at it was a very famous ship, in fact.
Isn't it the Titanic?
You're right, Jennifer. It's the Titanic. And do you know what they said about this boat, Aubrey?
No.
They said this ship was unsinkable.
Oh.
But they were wrong, because sadly, this ship sank. Do you want to hear more about it?
Yes.
Yeah, I'll tell you. It's really a sad story. On its very first voyage, the Titanic hit an extremely large iceberg that tore into the side of the ship. And as the water just started pouring in, people panicked.
Oh, no.
Many actually, though, didn't even believe it would sink. I mean, after all, they were on the Titanic.
Yeah.
But sadly, it did sink, and very few people survived. You know, if there would have just been more lifeboats, more people would have survived. But there wasn't enough, and only a very few people lived. It's a terrible tragedy. But you know, that kind of reminds me of another story about a lifeboat. In fact, it was one of the biggest lifeboats there ever was. It was called the Ark.
Oh, I love that story.
I do too, because you know, long ago, despite the sin that was slowly creeping into men's hearts, the earth enjoyed the highest of God's blessings. In fact, the people lived to be hundreds of years old. Can you imagine? We don't live to be that old nowadays, do we?
Mm-mm.
And in fact, the sweetest fruit on the trees grew, and they had the most enormous trees, really tall trees, and the plains and hills were covered with gorgeous, beautiful wildflowers. Sadly, it seemed that nothing could stop sin from creeping into the hearts of God's people. Don't you know that made God sad? However, Noah and his family chose to stay faithful.
Hey! Oh, stop! Hey! Get him! Get him! Get our money! Are you all right, son?
Yes, Father. Yes, Father.
Oh, let me
Just
help.
a little shaken up.
Oh.
Oh.
Here, sit on the rock.
Oh.
Sit on the rock.
Thank you, Father.
I couldn't catch him. Oh. He got away with the money.
Oh, it's only money.
I know this is not what God intended when he made us.
What has happened to our city and our people? The thievery, the selfishness. This is not what our God intends for us.
It's worse than that. People have lost sight of God.
What is our world coming to?
Are you okay, brother?
Yes. Yes, I'm just a little banged up, but I think I'll be okay.
You need help getting home?
Yes, please, please.
We must be going. You boys go on ahead and check on Ham. I have errands that I must return to.
Yes, Father.
Yes, Father.
Now be safe.
We'll see you soon, Father.
Knowing that the growing wickedness in the world must be stopped, God sent an angel to Noah to instruct him to build a great ship that would carry those who remained faithful to safety. According to God's instruction, Noah began building the ark and warning the people of what was to come.
Father, how much gopher wood are we going to need?
Japheth, give me a bit of time. I'm working on it just now.
Noah, pardon me. Won't you have some of this bread I just baked? It's still warm.
Oh, you are a good wife. But I must figure out how much gopher wood Japheth needs this week.
I understand. How are the plans coming?
It's coming along good, but there's so much more to be done.
For over 100 years, Noah, his family, and his crew worked day and night to prepare the ark. They did their best to encourage the people to surrender to God, but their words were ignored. Most of them thought that he was crazy.
Oh, my husband, I pray for their conversion.
Yes, surely.
I pray that they'll come on the ark.
Rain, rain, rain! May I?
We must pray that God will change their hearts.
Amen. So they can join us and be saved.
Hey, Noah, where's the rain?
What happened next?
Yes, tell us.
Well, the ark was so big, it was large enough to hold Noah, his family, and anyone else who was willing to get on board. You see, God was really concerned about saving mankind, but he also wanted to save the animals. He wanted to make sure that every species of animals was on board. You would think the people would have changed their mind when they saw all those wild animals of every kind just walking 2 by 2 into the ark, wouldn't you?
Really? So Noah didn't have to chase them in?
No, rather, it was the angels who led them into the ark. And they went in 2 by 2, a male and a female of each species, all except for the ones that were considered clean. The clean animals went in by 7s because God knew that after the flood, Noah and his family would need livestock to survive. There wasn't any plants or vegetables or fruits growing, was there?
No.
No.
Miss Brenda, did anyone else decide to go on the ark with Noah?
Jennifer, sadly, no. Only Noah, his wife, 3 sons, and their wives. Everyone else was too blinded by sin to believe. And by the time they actually chose to believe, it was too late. That God had given them the choice of either to get on the ark or not. But once he closed the door, their decision was final.
Did it start raining?
No, it didn't. Not yet. It actually took 7 days for the rain to start.
I bet the people started laughing at Noah when he got on board and it didn't start to rain.
You're right, Jennifer. In fact, they made fun of him and really were just thought he was the craziest man ever. Especially when the covering was placed over the ark. But then, it happened. On the 8th day, clouds covered the sky for the very first time. Lightning flashed and drops of rain poured from the sky. A thunderous crack was heard, and water began to shoot out of the earth. The people's laughter turned to screams of fear. The earth would never be the same again.
It was too late for the people, right? Instead of laughing at Noah, they should have listened.
That's right, Aubrey. They all perished in the flood.
Oh.
But God protected Noah and his family for being faithful. Isn't God good?
Yes.
But after several months of waiting for the waters to go down, Noah sent a raven out to scout ahead to see if he could find any kind of sign of dry land. But he found nowhere to land at all. Still holding on to faith, Noah released a dove. But still, nothing. Noah waited 7 more days.
7?
Yes, 7 more days. And then he sent out the dove again. But this time, he returned with a small olive branch in his mouth.
The bird finally found land.
Yes, that's right, Jennifer. Soon after leaving the ark, Noah, do you know what he did?
What?
He built an altar and offered to God some of the clean animals.
Father, we thank you for your faithfulness. You have delivered us from the rain and from the floods, and we are here and our hearts rejoice.
Noah and his family rejoiced, for they found themselves once again on solid ground. But they did not forget to give God thanks. This pleased God, and he blessed Noah's family, promising that he would never again destroy the earth with a flood.
Oh my God.
And in fact, he gave us the rainbow as a special sign of his promise. So girls, every time you see the rainbow, remember God's promise.
Yes.
And we can say thank you to God for his protection. Remember that it's important to be thankful for everything that God has given us, such as the food we eat and the roof over our heads and even the beautiful weather on a good day like today.
Yeah.
In fact, girls, would you like to go for a walk today? And let's enjoy some of that good weather.
Yeah.
All right, here's what we do. Put your books away. We'll be quiet. We're in the library, and I'll join you. It's time for Miss Brenda's Book of the Day. And today's book is called Finding David by Brad Watson. And it's a story of relationships, family, friends, and taking risks for them all. Finding David by Brad Watson. And I like sharing books with you boys and girls because what we read is as important as reading. It's important to read books, but what we read is more important. So I want you to read books that are going to draw you closer to your best friend, Jesus. Well, today our guest is Maxwell. Hey, Max. I'm so glad you joined us today. Maxwell's made it from the floor to the couch, and he's still thinking about whether or not it's time to go to sleep. And before long, I can guarantee you he will be sound asleep. But Maxwell, if you can stay awake long enough, we've got a letter here from Swaziland. I wanted to take this time to share some letters with you boys and girls. I love the letters you write to me. I love it when you tell me all the things you do to share Jesus. And I especially like it when you include a photograph so that I can see what you look like. Well, Maxwell might be too sleepy, but I know all of you are waiting to see what I have here. This says it's from Swaziland. Miss Brenda actually went to Swaziland before. This one says, Dear Miss Brenda, let's see. It said, thank you, Miss Brenda, for all my lessons. I'm very excited, and I feel impatient even waiting in the mail for my next lessons. I love them that much. And it said, please send me more lessons, please. I'm already sharing my lessons with my friends, and I'm using them to share Jesus, and they want to join Kids Club, too. And it said, we already have quite a few kids signed up for lessons. Thank you for my activity book, and can you tell Maxwell I love him? Bye for now. And her name is Tandi Margaret. And I don't know, Tandi, if I said your name right, T-H-A-N-D-I, if it's Thandi or Thandi or Tandi, but I want to thank you for writing. And Maxwell, she wants you to know she loves you. Wasn't that sweet? He's looking like, okay. Well, we have another letter here from South India. And let's see what this envelope looks like. It's coming all apart. And let's see what we have here. I think you're taking lessons too. Dear Miss Brenda, I am Jeffina. I have sent the answer sheets to you, and I'm very excited to get my Bible after I finished all my lessons. I loved taking the Kids Time notebook and pad that you gave me. Oh, it says, I love the notebook and pad and pen that you gave me. Please pray for our country, India, and for our people. Our Indian people believe in many other gods who they think is real. Only some, like me and my family, know about the real, true Jesus. But other people worship idols. Please pray for them to be saved. I want my people in heaven too. And she said, please pray especially for India. And it says, yours lovingly, Jeffina. Well, Jeffina, we will pray for your people in India. And God can't imagine heaven without every one of us there. He loves each one of us, and He wants us all to be saved and in heaven with Him. And this letter is from New Jersey. It says, Dear Miss Brenda, thank you so much for my activity book, and it was sent with my name on the envelope. Yes, it was. I asked my mom if I could give part of my allowance to tell others about God, and she said yes. We don't get 3AB in our house, but we see it on my Aunt Helen's TV, and I want to thank you for my kids' time lessons. Also, would you please pray for my sister Ashley? She's 21 and she used to go to church, but now she goes to work and then she goes out with her friends. Said, I want to see her in heaven. Thank you, Catherine. And Catherine, I want to tell you, I'm so glad that you shared that with me, and I would ask all our boys and girls everywhere to please pray for Ashley, because I want to see her in heaven too, don't you? And also you can go to my website, brendawalsh.com. There's a prayer warrior list. You can list any prayer request. People around the world will be praying for you. And also on kidstimeforjesus.org. Maxwell, you're such a wonderful guest. Why, look how quiet and attentive he was. I love you, Max. Well, boys and girls, I want to encourage you everywhere you go to witness for Jesus. Do you know why? It's kids' time to share Jesus.